All right, recording has started, and this is the February 21st, 2023 Rook community meeting. So going into our milestone checkups, we still do not have anything planned for 1.9, so we'll skip on ahead to 1.10. So we had a release that was since the last community meeting that happened on Friday, February 10th. Let's take a quick look in there in what was in the 1.10.11 release.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anything big to call out here?
Maybe the main thing I'd mention is that for the week before that, we had some CI issues blocking where the CI was just failing and we weren't sure why. So we got that figured out and fixed. Satoru found that the latest version of Ceph in conjunction with some update to the GitHub runner was just started causing a failure. So there is a fix in Ceph for this that will be out in the next Pacific and Quincy releases. But for now, we're just running the CI against a slightly older version of Ceph.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's what we're doing. Okay, got it. But is that a different version though that of Ceph that gets like by default installed and deployed, etc. at runtime though?
It's what do you mean a different version? So we still support the latest version that has that bug, and we've only seen the repro for this issue in the CI. Basically, I haven't heard any reports of it in Slack or GitHub or issues or whatever. So I think those versions of Ceph are still fine, but we're just hoping they can get a release out soon with that, so we can get the CI on the latest version again.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. The CI is green now with an older version.
Correct.
Cool.
Like 17.2.3 instead of .5.
Got it. All right. And then possibly a 1.10.12 release next week, I guess. Let's take a quick look at the project board here to see if there's anything of note. Doesn't look like it, so that would just be a regular cadence sort of release, regular timing sort of thing.
Exactly. And kind of slowing down from the 2-week cadence, just since that doesn't seem like there's any urgent blocking issue to get out sooner. So yeah, the timing there, I was thinking, when we get, usually we'll get to 1.11 in a minute, but usually after the minor release, we'll have a patch release for that the following week. So kind of at the same time, just update the 1.10 release was my thought.
Yep, that sounds good. So let's just go ahead then on to 1.11. The big topic here. So yeah, so we branched for 1.11. We've got the release candidate, the beta release out that was done last week. And so now we are talking about the real 1.11.0 release going out in 2 days later this week. So let's take a look at the board here. Let's see if there's anything big blocking things here. So definitely a couple things to talk through here to get to the finish line, it looks like.
Yeah, so I've got a couple things there. I mean, originally we talked about today being the release, but because of a couple more issues, I think we'll just wait until Thursday, and that looks realistic to be able to get it out. So in the blocking release column there, we're waiting for the CSI 3.8 release. So I just confirmed with Madhu that that's expected by tomorrow at the latest. So then we'll get that integrated with Rook and be good to go. It's just really, from Rook's perspective, a matter of updating the version of CSI that we pull in and then make sure it passes with the CI and do some basic testing, and then it should be good to go. Yep, so that's for CSI. And then the other one, we have an update to our manager pod where we're using a readiness probe instead of a sidecar to watch for the active manager. And so yeah, we've already got the readiness probe merged. And so the second piece of that is to that there's no more need for the sidecar. That's just in the final review, but probably should be merged by tomorrow. And then there's a couple other things in review that will probably be in time for the release, but I didn't mark them as blockers. So those that support mirroring across clusters with overlapping networks that CentOS has about done. And then trying to get the Go modules updated to Kubernetes 1.26 would be nice to have that in as well, but yeah, I don't think either of those would block the release. Just having some issues getting 1.26 to be friendly to our Go modules. Parth and Shubham are working through that.
Are there any like upgrade concerns or migration steps or anything specifically to call out for this 1.11 release?
No, so Blaine just updated the
Nice.
upgrade guide and tested the upgrades, and there's no blocking or breaking issues with the upgrade. The only breaking issue we have in our list of issues is that we updated the minimum version of Kubernetes to 1.21 now instead of 1.19. But yeah, no breaking in changes anticipated that way.
Great, that's good to hear. Cool. All right. So it looks like there's a couple things then landing tomorrow, and we'll need to integrate them in tomorrow and run CI and make sure everything looks good there and do some test passes, etc. But things look to be on track then for a release on Thursday.
Exactly. And then today I want to get a draft of the blog out for the release so that I have some time for feedback so we can get that ready to go on Thursday as well. But I think that's all as far as major things to consider before the release. But there will be other fixes that get merged and things merged before then, I'm sure. But this is what we're tracking towards for blockers.
Cool. Sounds good. Any other notes then on 1.11 from anybody?
Sound like a plan?
All right. Oh, I'm gonna add a note here. Oops. Oh, maybe this isn't actually fully related. Let's talk about it offline. Okay, cool. So I guess we can move on to the community topic section. So KubeCon Amsterdam is coming up in a bit under 2 months, I guess. So yeah, you wanted to talk about doing a press release, Travis?
Yeah, so for this, for the projects, the graduated projects, well, another project, I think Kubernetes, the CNCF is asking us who would like to do a press release, just get some information out there for people for KubeCon. And so, yeah, press release is kind of a new thing that they're going to try supporting, so we can just get that out. So I just wanted to start collecting thoughts. What should we put in a press release for KubeCon? Probably basically about 1.11 features and changes, and yeah, we don't need to answer it right now, but just if we could all think about what makes sense to get in that press release. So I'll take that to the maintainers channel and we can chat there about it.
Yeah, and Travis, one of the challenges I think with like the PR support that they provide for KubeCon is that they have some messaging and they intend for you to be announcing something that hasn't been announced anywhere else yet. So it kind of constrains like the type of material that they would be in support of you of being announced there, because it's not supposed to be like, oh, our last release that we already did a blog about. It's like supposed to be new, fresh news that hasn't been announced anywhere else. So it's kind of a mix of challenge, I think, to really time something new for that specific window.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess, and I haven't looked very close at the requirements they're looking for in the press release, so that's a good point. And if that's the case, we may not end up having a press release.
Yeah,
which is fine, right? But
yep,
if we can think of something to time for that, they do have support for that.
Cool. Yep, that sounds good. And then the topics and things that will be presented on for the maintainer track is open for folks that making suggestions to it.
Yeah. So I just need to reach out to the community just to ask in Slack. I'll do that soon so we can start getting ideas beyond the usual 1.11 updates and other project boring stuff that we do. Yeah, what do people want to hear about? That's what I'm curious to hear.
Are all the topics and presentations announced for Supplicon too?
No, the CFP just closed on Sunday, so they'll announce
Oh,
it
okay.
next week.
Okay,
Yep.
so that hasn't been figured out yet.
Mhm.
Cool. Well, that'll be great to see what topics make it there too.
Mhm. Yeah, I guess that'd be good to put in our agenda for next time too, to talk about what to do at Cephala Academy.
Okay, sounds good. And then the OK community, it looks like we're moving forward with that and gonna start participating in the monthly community meetings there.
Yeah, so I had a meeting. I think I might have mentioned this last time, or was it since our last meeting? Anyway, with Bart from the DOK. And it just sounds like we'll have a monthly Rook call where people can join and ask questions about Rook or data in general, and how Rook addresses data scenarios. Anyway, so it looks like we'll put that on the first Monday of the month at around 9 a.m. Pacific time, or maybe earlier. We'll see.
Oh, so that's intended to be Rook specific.
So they do monthly calls, or it sounds like they're intending to do monthly calls with different groups of people who are interested.
Huh.
Like, whoever's interested in Rook, go join this call. So in the interest of facilitating discussions of different topics and different groups, right? So they wanted to facilitate a monthly call with Rook.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm super curious as to what the audience will be like for that discussion. Like who joins, what did you say there was already one that happened?
Great. So it was a couple weeks ago. I thought I was just going to call and talk to Bart just to kind of get an intro to the project and what we're talking about, and then he had invited someone else to join too. So there were three of us in the call, and the third guy was asked a couple of questions and kind of just spawned discussion. It was just all good discussion.
Oh, cool.
Talk about what Rook is and how we do things. So yeah, it'll just be a place to have a call. It kind of, I mean, in some sense, it's like, well, why wouldn't we just have those sort of things in the community call, like this meeting? But this is more of a project focused thing, and that's just like community questions. So I can see how it's a different forum. Just makes sense, I think, and it's nice there.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it also gets us plugged into their, community, their ecosystem as well. Gives the project a little bit more reach too. So it's not not hurting.
Exactly.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be definitely be interested to see how that goes over time, and what sort of audience shows up there over time, and if they're asking questions about implementation and architecture and stuff like that. Should be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then Travis, I was going to add a note about the Slack in for the Ceph community. I joined in over there, and then somebody reached out to me yesterday when President's Day, we were off yesterday, so I didn't respond yet, but I'll follow up on that and see if I can help out there.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for taking a look at that. Sounds like I didn't realize. It sounds like Slack officially stopped working for people like a couple of years ago. But since we haven't updated our fork since 2017, it's just still working.
Ta-da!
Right. So
yeah, it seems like there's a lot of lost knowledge there too, of oh, cool, it's still working. Nobody's touched it for 5 years. Okay, good.
Exactly.
So
the Ceph guys are going to try and use an old fork as well, and just see if they can get it working, because it's so much simpler to just click and join the Slack org instead of needing an email invite. Right.
Is there not a better solution that Slack themselves provides nowadays? This seems like that was kind of just filling a gap 5 years ago, and
right?
there would be a better solution from Slack the company by now.
Yeah, you would think. My impression at least is that, I mean, because Slack charges per user for normal charged accounts, you want email invitations specifically, otherwise you end up ballooning your costs. But with our open community, that just doesn't fit that, since we want the free model and we want everyone to join.
But we have to have the free model.
Exactly. And users come and go so quickly, and we don't want to pay for intermittent users like that. So
okay, cool. I'll follow up there, see if I can provide help. It may be a situation where I It's been working for 5 years, haven't looked at it in 5 years, don't know the answer to the questions, but we'll take a look
Yeah,
at least.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing
Okay.
that.
Yeah. Anything else that folks wanted to bring up today then? Okay, well then if that's all for the agenda, then we can go ahead and adjourn for the week. And then the big thing to follow up on this week will be 1.11 coming out, scheduled for Thursday of this week. So thanks for all the efforts and work towards getting that big release out, and good to see everybody this week.
Yep. Thanks, Jared.
Bye, see ya.
See ya.